Shots rang out in Tehran today as two of Iran's most notorious judges met their end outside the very courthouse where they once presided. At 10:58 a.m. local time, Mohammad Moghiseh and Ali Razini, both Supreme Court judges with a legacy darker than a moonless night, were gunned down in broad daylight by a member of their own security detail. A bodyguard was also injured in the attack. It seems Iran's hanging judges have finally faced their own form of swift justice, though I doubt they'd appreciate the irony. For those of you who slept through History 101, the 1988 executions were Iran's idea of spring cleaning. Just swap out dusty knickknacks for thousands of political prisoners. Following the Iran-Iraq war and a fatwa from Ayatollah Khomeini, these judges were key players in what's been called one of the darkest chapters in Iran's modern history. We're talking about the mass execution of somewhere between 5,000 and 30,000 political prisoners. That's right, my friends. The death toll is so high they can't even nail down a number. It's like they were playing Guess Who with the entire population of a small city. Meow. Let's examine our dearly departed judges. Moghiseh, born in 1956 in Sabzevar, was known affectionately as the Hanging Judge, a nickname I'm sure he treasured alongside his 2019 US sanctions for unfair trials. He had a rap sheet longer than a CVS receipt, including presiding over the case that sentenced human rights lawyer Nasrin Sotoudeh to 38 years in prison and 148 lashes. Because nothing says justice like sentencing someone to more years than they've been alive. Right. And Razini, born in 1953 in Hamadan province, he was the kind of guy who'd defend sending students and grandmothers to the gallows as fair and necessary for national security. In a 2017 interview, he claimed, "We guaranteed that the hypocrites could never become powerful in this country." Talk about equal opportunity oppression. If there was a Iran's Got Talent for judicial cruelty, these two would have gotten the golden buzzer. The shooter, a member of the Judicial Security Service, apparently decided protect and serve was more of a suggestion than a job description. He gained access to the judges through his position, took them both out, and then turned the gun on himself, leaving behind more questions than a Persian game show. No doubt the regime will launch a thorough investigation, and by thorough, I mean they'll find someone convenient to blame faster than you can say scapegoat. The streets of Tehran are buzzing louder than a dentist's office during a root canal, with protesters demanding justice for the judges' past victims. It's like Iran's playing a deadly game of tag, and these judges just got caught after a 37-year run. One protester, who wished to remain anonymous for obvious reasons, said, "This is just the beginning. We won't rest until all those responsible for the 1988 massacres are held accountable." Good luck with that, my friend. You might have better odds teaching a camel to ice skate. World leaders are expressing their deep concern. Diplomats speak for, "We'll furrow our brows disapprovingly but do absolutely nothing." It's about as effective as trying to put out a forest fire with a water pistol. Meanwhile, human rights organisations are calling for an independent investigation, because if there's one thing Iran loves, it's letting outsiders poke around in their judicial system, right? This assassination comes amid a broader context of political unrest in Iran. The country's been dealing with economic sanctions that have hit harder than a Revolutionary Guard's baton, regional tensions higher than a Persepolis minaret, and a populace that's frankly had enough of the whole oppressive regime thing. It's like Iran's greatest hits album of civil unrest, with the 1988 executions as the chart-topping single that just won't fade away. Speaking of hits, if you're finding this tale of judicial karma as gripping as I am, why not hit that subscribe button? It's less morally questionable than being a Supreme Court judge in Iran, I promise. The implications of this double assassination could shake up Iran's judicial system more than a Polaroid picture. Let's hope the next batch of judges comes with a slightly lower body count. But given Iran's track record, I wouldn't bet my last rial on it. The cycle of violence and repression that's defined Iranian politics for so long shows no signs of slowing down. It's like a merry-go-round of misery and nobody seems to know how to get off. We'll keep you informed as the story develops. I'm Ron de Parmesan, reporting for Newscats.